Chris.
Get in here.
Uh-oh, you're gonna go back that way, Ahmed. Stay back the other way, Chris.
Up there, Mom. Go, Tree.